Got a Bianchi Oltre comp that I've put some miles on. I also got a chance to put some miles on a Cervelo S5. A cool comparison. I'll do another video when I have those side by side. Here, I just want to talk about my thoughts on the Bianchi Oltre. Let's go through the build spec on the bike, talk about some of the specifics. The Bianchi Oltre comp. It is not the Pro frame. This is their basic carbon layup. It does not ride quite as well. It's a little more rigid. You feel a little bit more of the vibrations in it. I've ridden on both frames, and I do think the Pro frame is legit. On the Pro frame, you get the carbon handlebar and stem that's integrated. That is a lot sleeker, and it has that airflow opening in it. It's not nearly the size as what you find on the Cervelo S5, but it's there. This bike has an aluminum stem with an aluminum handlebar on it. It's kind of an Aero bar, but not quite an Aero bar. It's there. This cap actually just sticks on with a magnet. These spacers are in here, bit of a proprietary setup. The one I've been riding is your standard Ultegra Di2 build. We've got a 52-36 chainring set on it and the 11 to 32 cassette. Stock wheels, Fulcrum Airbeat 550s. These tires did not come stock on it. If I remember correctly, there were some Pirelli endurance tires that came. I put these Corsa Pros in it because I really like them. I like how they ride. They're fast, they're comfortable. Some people are concerned about the cotton casing and getting punctures. I haven't had any issues with them. I love riding them. I also rode the same tires on an S5. Okay, some things I like about the bike, there's some things I don't. Let's start with some things I do like. The 55 centimeter frame. Between a 56 Cervelo S5 and a 54 Cervelo S5, neither one of them are quite right. The 56 is too long, and on the 54, I've got a fairly drastic drop. The reach, I don't know. It's not perfect, but I make it work. I could probably tweak and play around with the bike a little bit more if I was going to keep it, but I'm not. I'm putting some miles on these, and then somebody's going to get a good deal on them. I think they're already listed on our website. So these are going to get rolled over, and next season I'll try something else. Anyway, where I was going with that is, I like the fit on this bike. This bike fits me a little closer out of the box. The only thing on the 55, though, is I'm fairly close to the max seat height on it. I got a little bit more room, but not a ton. These wheels, in today's day and age, with all the hookless stuff and everything going really wide, these are kind of an old school, standard hooked carbon rim, which, to be honest with you, I'm okay with, but they're definitely not the latest wheel technology that's coming on these bikes. One thing that I do like that if I wanted to, I could put a different handlebar on this, and it's pretty easy. And this bike's a couple $1,000 cheaper than the Pro frame. One thing that I don't like about this bike, I don't like how they've carboned over and capped over the ends of these through axle. I wish that the through axle just came straight through there. It kind of bothers me. I mean, it's not a big deal. I get it. It's clean. It looks nice. I don't know if it's necessary. It's just something you have to make sure you're very careful of. If you need to get a different through axle, and you're not paying attention, you just don't have any tolerance for having a through axle that's too long or something like that. So you have to make sure you get the right through axle. If you want to put this into a wheel-on rear wheel trainer or something like that, you can't. As far as riding this bike, I freaking love it. These are like $6,100 retail. It's awesome. I love riding the bike. Testing whatever's out there is not going to show it as fast as the S5. It probably isn't, but the seat of the pants for me, either bike is super fast. And I personally absolutely love riding this bike. Some of it might be, like I said, I think this one out of the box stock fit just fits me just a smidge more comfortable out of the box. I've had an absolute joy riding this bike. It's awesome. This drivetrain works out fantastic. Bang for the buck, because I've been on a lot of Trek domes. We used to sell Trek. I think this is in that super competitive spot, getting a really cool, unique Aero bike with an Ultegra Di2 build. When we brought these in, maybe they were $6,100. They might be a little bit more than that now, maybe $6,300. This one that I'm gonna sell on a demo, obviously gonna be cheaper than that. Anyway, bang for the buck on an Aero bike. These are awesome. That's the one thing about the Cervelo S5. There's not an entry point for it. I'm not saying that $6,000 is an entry point for a bike, but when you are in Aero bikes, and an S5 costs you 9 to 10 grand for a Force or an Ultegra build, this is a pretty nice way to get into an Aero bike. And with tire pressures and that type of thing that we can run today, you can make this bike ride pretty nice. I've ridden it with 28 millimeter Corsa Pros anywhere from, actually I rode it home one night at 45 PSI in the back and 41, 42 in the front. I was at our old shop cleaning out, taking down some old walls. I didn't have a pump over there. I had this bike with me because I was gonna ride home from there. Tires needed some air. And I said, what the heck, I'm gonna ride home, see how it feels, I'll measure it when I get home. That was too low, but it was actually still pretty fast, rode good. But I've been riding it regularly, anywhere between 55 to 68 PSI, depends on which road I'm going down. I really like this bike. It's a bike that we're gonna continue to stock and sell in our shop, along with the S5s. I think in our shop, having the Bianchi Oltres, and then having Cervelo, we've got some really good options for people that want to get into an Aero bike. They can go on that Cervelo end, which we know is a super, super fast bike. With the latest one that just came out, it just gets a little bit faster, and that's an extremely refined bike. If you want to get into one with the base carbon layup on this Bianchi Oltre, you can. Or you can go into the Pro version. I haven't had a lot of miles on that, just some test miles, getting a customer set up on it, bending the brakes or whatever. And yes, personally, I do think the Pro frame rides a little bit better. You just don't feel the vibrations as much. Anyway, super cool bike. If you're looking for an Aero bike, but you're not gonna spend 9-10 grand, you should definitely look at the Bianchi Oltres. Thanks.